Welcome back, Southwest Florida. We are here at the Lee County Black History Society Museum, known as the Williams Academy Black History Museum. We're here in Clemente Park and the Dunbar community in Fort Myers. This is Lee Pitts Live. Of course, I'm Lee Pitts here on Fox 4. We've had a magnificent day here in the park where we're celebrating the new app that has been created for people to download to see all the historic sites here in the Dunbar community. If you're watching us from around the world, the Dunbar community is located in the city of Fort Myers. It's in the southwest quadrant of the state of Florida, and it is the largest minority community in this region, and largely African Americans. There are a lot of historic sites here going back to the early 1900s, and the bus tour will show you all of those sites that are taking place, and then the app that you'll download will show you that as well. This right here, this building right here is the first school in the area that African Americans could attend back in the segregated South. And we have Charles. Just do a slow pan over to this building. Take your time, Charles. And if you look at that building, that's a historic building that was moved to this site. A lot of great people have come out of this building, and it's been restored to now a magnificent historical museum here documenting history. And when you hear me say Charles, I'm talking about Charles Barnes. He's the chairman of the board here for the Black History Society, and we got him on camera. He's doing a yeoman's job. Speaking of history and speaking of museums, we have a gentleman here who's no stranger to museums. He has dedicated his adult life to being an artist, and so his exhibits have been featured in various museums around. So let's get a chance to meet him. Let's get your full name.
I'm Rick Washington. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
You are here in the Fort Myers area because you have an exhibit now at the Sidney and Barn Davis Art Center, a well-respected art center downtown Fort Myers. That's high cotton, bro.
Yes, sir. It's a very, very nice venue, very nice exhibit. I've joined with them. This show is called Turf Wars, and it's art that speaks for the earth. And I've kind of redirected my career to focus on environmental arts. I look at what's happening to the plants, what's happening to the air, what's happening to the animals, but most importantly, what's happening to people out here. There are people all over the planet that are in motion because they're losing their groundwater. They can't farm. They can't do things that they normally do, and that's what is the cause for a lot of this immigration problem that we're having. So I want to do artwork that is speaking to that problem and bringing light to it, and that we can be concerned about the birds and the bees, but people are in that as well.
The social social consciousness art now.
Absolutely. Social consciousness, and that what's happening to us on a global scale. And most importantly, black and brown people around the planet are being adversely affected by it. Even in America, our neighborhoods are the ones that are polluted. Our neighborhoods are the ones that have landfills and that kind of thing. And so our own habits affect that as well. And so if we raise the consciousness of our people, we can combat what's happening to degrade society.
Well, I'm going to come to that, and we're going to spend a little bit more time on that, but I want to make sure I'd be remiss if I didn't get him and his wife on tape. Roy Kennicks and his lovely wife, Frankie Jennings, friends of yours.
Absolutely.
From the Atlanta area. Roy told me about you last night, and I thought I wasn't going to get a chance to meet you, and just happenstance worked out that you came over here to partake in some of the historic nature of this community here in Fort Myers. Just the little bit that you've gathered so far, know about the importance of the history here of you being what you do. How important do you think it is in society that we document our history?
Well, I think it's very important because we've been in every aspect of the development of this country. We've been every nook and cranny practically making it a better place. We built this country essentially. Without us, this country wouldn't survive. From its inception, they relied on the labor of black and brown people to make this country what it is.
You're right about that. The back to your art. We're looking at you, you're African American. Do we have many African Americans now in that particular genre of environmental art?
Well, I'm starting to learn more and more about them. There are several artists that I'm aware of that are using plant materials and earth elements in their work. And I'm really just 6 months into this particular direction and so I'm learning more about the field. I've been a abstract painter and a printmaker for the bulk of my career, and I am meeting more and more artists that are using natural elements in their work, and hope to meet more that are doing things to raise social consciousness.
Okay, you'll be happy to know that I went to graduate school in Atlanta.
Oh, beautiful.
At AU Center there, Clark Atlanta University. I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama.
There you go.
Okay, so I know a little bit about up there moving around on the, was that I-20 corridor?
I-20. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we're just so thrilled to have you down here in our community. How can people, is there a website or a social media page where people can go and find out more about you as well?
Well, right now I have a page on a site called fineartamerica.com, and you can Google Rick Washington, that's RIC Washington, and you can see an array of my paintings and some of the environmental works that I'm beginning to produce. Other than that, I have a graphics design site. I'm a graphic designer in my day job, and that is rickwashington.com.
What has been the response from the society in general when they get a chance to see some of your artwork, and what makes it unique? I heard you say that people are using various natural elements to, I guess, to paint things.
Yeah.
Is that a part of the component of it? So
it is.
Kind of break that down for us in a Sesame Street way.
Well, when you think about it and you say I'm doing a painting, and this painting is, I'm not painting with paint, I'm painting with leaves, or I'm painting with flower petals. And what that means is that you're using a particular substance to make the images that you're making.
Amazing.
Right now, my images are based on texture and just the beauty. I'm trying to exemplify the beauty of the plant's life, that are all around us.
Nice shoot.
Yeah, and the more we appreciate it.
That's how I leaf it live. I can go off on a tangent. Go ahead, go back to the environment. I'm looking at them like, Charles, where you get them nice boots, man? The buckles all on the side. Hey, folk, I know I'm doing the TV show. They leaf it live. I can do what I want to do. Go ahead,
you got to see these shoes. These
I got to give me a pair though.
for real. But it's all about.
You're talking about the using of the.
That's right. Well, the response I get from people is, I didn't know you could do that.
Right.
I didn't know you could
it
take some dried up leaves.
Painstaking too. Like it's like a lot of work to get those elements.
Well, it is, and I'm a printmaker, and so printmaking is a long process-oriented kind of thing, and so this is like printmaking to me, in that you have to rehydrate dried leaves and flower petals, and you essentially bring them back to life.
How did a guy like you get into that?
Oh, I've always been into it. I've always been a naturalist. I've always loved getting up and being in the land. When I was a little boy, my dad would get me up on Saturday morning, and we'd go on and work our garden out in the backyard, or we'd go out in the country and work the fields for friends of his. So I've always been out. I did scouting and camping and all of that. So coming through the 70s, the environmental movement was real strong.
Okay. How would you describe your work? You're more drawing, painting, concept?
No, I don't do as much drawing and painting. My work is more constructive. I do assemblages, and so I'm taking objects and combining objects together in a two-dimensional sense, and that they're flat on a panel, and then I'm painting them and embellishing them and doing what I can. Right now, my real goal is to start being able to create real definable images out of these. Right now they're textures and they're beautiful, and they show just the delicacy and the dimensions of natural plant life.
How did you end up here with an exhibit at Sidney and Bourne Davis?
Oh, I stay abreast of all kinds of exhibit opportunities across the country. And when I saw Fort Myers pop up, I instantly said, oh boy, this would be a good chance to get down and see Frankie and Roy.
Roy.
And I said, oh, this would be wonderful. I said, if I go on and get in this show, I can go on and spend a nice weekend with my friends. And that's really my goal, is to start reaching out across the country where I have contacts and have shows where I know people and have the support like this here.
Well, I mean, you walked up on the #1 rated television show in Southwest
Florida.
About it. I hate to say that out loud, people, but Leap This Live is #1 rated television talk show here in Southwest Florida. And a good friend of mine, Roy, has brought a gem to our community. I'm going to give him time to appreciate this wonderful museum here. We get a chance to walk around before the tour starts, so you can continue to get a grasp of what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to getting you back down into this community,
Yes.
And making your name felt, get you into some of the schools to talk to the children as well. It just seemed like the perfect blend of what's going on in society and what you're doing with your art.
That would be fantastic. I'd love it.
Okay, give people one more shout out to how they can get in touch with you or see your work.
You can go on and visit my website, rickwashington.com. That has a link to contact me with a phone number and email, and also I have a strong Black History website that's an adjunct to this conversation, and it's called mysumnerhighyearbooks.com. And this is a site where I have archival yearbooks going back to 1918 for Charles Sumner High School in St. Louis, Missouri. You'll find it very interesting. A lot of famous people came through there. It's a landmark school in our country's history.
There you go. We'll be right back.